Hi, y'all, I'm Hannah.
Hi, I'm Kayla.
Hi, I'm Ann.
Hi, I'm Marie, and we are coming to you live from Austin, Texas, because it's Happy Woolly Wednesday! Hey, everybody, Happy Wednesday! Here we are in magical Austin, Texas, with 3 magical living felt fairies, having a great rainy fall day. Are you guys having a good day?
Yeah.
These girls have been working so hard, as usual. I mean, you always hear me say that. That's the truth. But tell us, what have you guys been working on today?
Today I'm just rolling MC1. That's about it. Just 2-ounce rolls of MC1 for now.
Rolling some merino top, 2-ounce rolls as well.
Working on some prep for the beachscape kit.
Yeah, very
Fun
excited
stuff.
about that. Speedy's holding down his blanket, currently doing a very important job. And we are just so glad to have you all here with us today. So thank you for joining us, and let's have a Woolly Wednesday together. Thanks for being here, y'all. Hey everyone, happy Wednesday. Thank you for joining us. If this is your first time, welcome to Woolly Wednesday. We are Living Felt, based here in Austin, Texas, with friends all over the world. So hopefully you see them checking in, and this is how we do it. We just say hi and where you're from. You can tell us anything about where you are or maybe what you're working on. And I'm gonna cue up my little screen here so I can say hi to a few people. And there we are, Ann says. Okay, so I see some of you joining us now. I see Jill is in Oregon and Selma. Thank you for being here today. Becky says she's busy, and Judy is there in Tennessee. Happy Wednesday, everybody. Devin, I see you there in Idaho. That's awesome. Janlyn in New York and Alice in North Carolina. Thank you, everyone, for being here. So we have so much going on right now, and for those of you who are joining us for the first time, hey, add a hashtag new to your comments so we can greet you and say hello. This hour we like to hang out with our friends. We usually do some show and tells and some demonstrations. We try and answer your questions. So this is an interactive hour. If you have a question, just ask it. We'll do our best to get to it. If it's an important question and we don't get to it, please know that you can email us at customerservice@livingfelt.com, or you can also give us a call. I'm gonna have Ann post our phone number, our toll-free number. We're here Monday through Friday from 9 to 4 and Saturdays from 10 to 4. We're happy to help you on phone, via email, through our website CRM, or if you happen to be in the area, please come by and bring a show and tell. We'd love to see it. So this is an interactive hour. Everyone who participates and chimes in, asks questions, whatever, your name is going to go into our magical pumpkin bowl. And at the end of the show, we're going to give away some prizes. So I hope you win. I want to do 1 or 2 shout outs. The first big shout out is to say happy birthday to my dad in Colorado. Today is his birthday, and I just want to say I love you, Dad, and hope you have a great day. And then my second shout out goes to my friend Anita Mester, who is right down the road. She came in this morning and was helping me put together our Felt United artwork pieces. So for those of you who have participated, I'm gonna give a heart, one to my dad and one to Anita. Our Felt United artwork is going to be unveiled next Wednesday on Woolly Wednesday, and I'm so excited about that. So Anita came in and was helping me put some of the groupings together, and we didn't quite finish, so she actually took it home and is working on it for all of us. So thank you, Anita, so much. And she's gonna come back this afternoon, so I'm excited to share that with you next week.
Becky says, happy birthday, Marie's dad.
Thank you, Becky.
Amanda's here with us in Oregon, and Jenny's here with us too.
That is so awesome. Thank you all so much for being here. So today we're going to do a little demonstration for you. We'll probably have time for some wild cards if you have some special things you want to see. And I think that Ann and Hannah want to share something about our community service project we did on Monday. So take it away, beautiful fairies.
Hey, y'all.
Hi, everybody. Thanks so much for being here today. We had so much fun at the library Monday night, and we wanted to give a really big thank you to Jennifer at the Austin Central branch and all the fabulous librarians that helped at that event. It's so much fun.
It was absolutely great. We had about 30 women come out, only 2 of which even knew what needle felting was. So we did a lot of teaching, a lot of hands-on demonstrating, and it was a blast. People fell in love with it, which is what we want.
These are some just examples of what we made. We had these little pumpkins, and then of course the fantasy owls.
Yes, yes.
Mm-hmm. Fun. So here, Karen says, hi, I was having a case of the blahs. Perfect timing. I'd rather be inspired.
Aw.
Cool. Okay, gals, thank you so much.
Thank you.
So the library was absolutely so much fun, and hopefully I'll be able to share some pictures. The Austin Central Library is brand new and absolutely beautiful. They have like a cooking class going on the first floor or somewhere down there, so we were just smelling food all night. It's an amazing facility, and maybe your library has some similar projects too. For us, the gals worked all day on Monday and then went out, and we all volunteered from like 6:30 till 9. They practically had to peel people away from their felting foams. Isn't that right, Ann? They were so, nobody wanted to leave. Okay, cool. So, is there anything we need to answer before we do our demonstration? Today, we thought we would demonstrate using the drum carder. We haven't done that in a little while, and fall colors are just so dreamy to work with. So, I have behind me, here's just a little art bat I made up before today's show. This, I would think that it weighs just about an ounce or so. It's really, really thin, and I double carded it so that it is very blended up. And it's definitely beautiful fall colors. You could use this as a base for something and put design work on top of. You could make a table runner from something like this, or a purse or a journal cover, and use this as your top layer. So we're going to blend some autumn colors together. And what I brought was this is our Autumn Leaf Specialty Designer Pack. This is actually, it's been stripped down because I've already pulled from it. So this is like an example of just half of those fibers. And the little bat that I showed you here, this is just a quarter. This is what a quarter of that pack would make. Okay, going fine? Okay, so we're gonna card this up, and y'all feel free to ask any questions while we do that. Let us know anything that you need to see. So I'm going to see if this shows up. So today I'm going to be working on the Ashford. This is the wide drum carder that we have here in the shop. And we also have the mini, I didn't bring, the wild drum carder is about this wide. The regular drum carder is about this wide. So this one is 12 inches, the regular is 8, and the mini is 4. The one that I have in my home studio is the 8, and this one we have here in the shop for folks to use. So this is the wide one's really nice, but honestly the 8-inch is just perfect for me in my home studio for making a quick little blend. One of the things I really like about the Ashford drum carders is the depth of the needles here, the teeth. I really like the depth of the teeth. This is just their standard one. It's not even their fine one. I really like it a lot. I also like that the teeth are dull, so you can hand paint the bat right on top of the drum if you want to, and it doesn't eat up your fingers. And we have an electric drum carder that we make bigger runs on that's not by Ashford, and it eats up my fingers. It's very pokey. Okay, are we good? All right, so I'm going to be pulling these fibers up. These are the fibers that we're working with, and it helps to have them kind of already separated and ready to pull from. And I'm going to start just by painting right here on top of the drum. So I like to work in lengths that are only about this long, and I've separated this all out. So what I'm going to do is turn down, this is like a little built-in packer brush. And you can change the ratio of these drums. We pretty much leave it all the same because we're just running it like this. So I can put this fiber right here on the teeth and tease it out as we go. I already let too much go, but If you hold the fiber back, the other thing you can do is if your fiber is really compact, is you can draft it out a little bit. This would be drafting it out, and have it grab just a little bit at a time. So we're gonna paint a little batt together here. And Anne, you just let me know if any questions or thoughts come up.
And Jean wants to know what was the brush along the top for?
This helps pack down the fibers into the teeth. So you can press it down lightly to keep the fibers from sitting on top. It helps pack them down into the teeth there. So you can have it down or not down all the way.
Karen asks, how long are the tines?
I don't know. That looks to be about, we'll get the ruler out. We'll get the ruler out and see how long they are. I'm not sure exactly. I'll grab one in just a second. So I'm just gonna paint right on the top here. Now, I'm not gonna make this batt as wide as the drum. I'm gonna pull this up just so it doesn't make too much noise. I'm not gonna make this batt as wide as the drum because I'm only putting a little bit of fiber down. But what's fun about this is that you can paint the top. Now, this part right here, this is called the drum. This big one is called the drum, and this is called the liquor in. It's designed to feed the fiber right in here. So let me do that with this brighter color. You can feed the fibers right into the liquor in if you don't want to paint the top like I'm doing, and feed them right in here. And what happens is the liquor in will grab some of the fibers, and then they'll get taken up off the liquor in onto the drum. When you have really fine fibers like this, sometimes I find that the liquor in holds on to more than I like, and that's why sometimes I like to paint the top. So I'm going to go back to this position here, and I'll show you something else in a minute after we get going. Let's just keep decorating this, and I'll spread out a little bit. Now, when you're making your own batt, if you're adding silks, any silks, any Angelina, any bamboo, any viscose or things like that, you definitely want to paint those onto the drum because you don't want them to get stuck down here on the liquor in.
Jenny asks, do you always feed the wool on the main drum when working with the top?
No, I don't always. But there's a couple of ways we can do this, and I wanted to show this way first, and then I'll show some other things you can do. No, especially on our big drum carder, we don't. But I don't have to use any hands for that because it's electric. So I'm going to show you how to feed it in through the liquor in also. What you're just going to see though is that less grabs on. This is Tessa silk, and so I do always paint the Tessa silk on by hand. Now the thing is, depending on how you're going to use your batts, if you just want to felt the whole batt or spin, if you spin the whole batt, you can have your luster fibers throughout the batt. But sometimes you just want to use your luster fibers only for what would be the top layer, so that they're not buried in the middle. If you're felting something, they don't get buried underneath. So think about that placement so you don't waste them. I'm going to put in some Angelina.
And Beth asks, what TPI do you recommend?
This one is a 72, which is the standard. And honestly, I think it's just a great for general, even for commercially produced tops. I really do.
Deborah asks, after this process, could you wet felt it?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. This would be especially for a wet felting batt. Absolutely. And I'm just going to make a skinny one here so that we can demonstrate and do something else. So see how I'm putting more on top, whether you were going through the liquor in or putting more on top. Think about those design fibers, the luster fibers, and whether you want them buried, because you might only want to use them on the top.
Lily asks, do you like the hand-turned carders over the electric carders?
I like the hand turn for making smaller quantities. The electric one that we have is rather large, and it's wide, so it's twice as wide as this. You have to load a lot onto it, and I wouldn't do it for making something small. If I'm doing something small, I would use something like this. Just for fun, I'm going to throw in here some sari silk waste. The thing, if you have fibers, sari silk waste or ribbons or other yarns that you want to put in your art batt, what you might want to avoid is going across this little line right here. You're going to see this is where we break the batt. And if you have long staple length locks or anything like that, it's hard to get them off when you break the batt. So try and avoid that piece right there when you do it. I didn't tighten down my, there we go. Okay. So let me turn this back down. And I'm just painting those in there for just a little bit of squiggly action. I'm gonna add some more bamboo. And then we'll just take off, this is just like a little teeny mini blend. And we'll do something a little bit different. I like painting the batt. I will tell you, I think it is very, very satisfying.
Karen asks, how do you spell the liquor in?
Like it says, liquor, not as in liqueur, like liquor in.
And a couple of our felting friends want to know if you could add neps onto something.
Oh yeah, sorry, I have neps here. Hold on, I have them here in my bowl. So these are brown. These will show. What else do I have? I have some purple ones. So we have a little tool called a packer brush, and we use the packer brush. If you've tried different drum carders, play with the packer brush, because I use it on my big drum carder. The way to hold it is this way, but on this drum carder it's this way, so you have to look at the angle of the teeth. So here are little neps, and with this drum carder you can just kind of paint them right on there with your fingers. You're going to lose some, but if you want to pack something down, you use the packer brush. And on this drum carder, it's best to put it like up here. And it helps hold, it just kind of helps comb everything in. So this is a teeny little batt, but let's take it off and we can look at making one another way. So here's what we do. We go to this little bar, and we have a tool here that helps us break the batt. So there's a little groove here that this pick goes in, and you just pull up and break the batt, just like that. Now there's a couple of ways to get it off. We have little rolling bars that we can roll it on, but I'm not going to roll it on there. I'm just going to use this part of the drum carder right here and pull it off. So this is the little batt that we made, and you can see that everything is kind of clear. You can see all the different colors that are in there, but you can take this batt and run it back through the drum carder, and you can stack it if you want to blend it. Like, let's say you just want it blended more. Am I in an okay place? Okay, so let's say you just want it blended more. I'm going to actually turn it upside down. Can you see this part? Okay, great. So I'm just going to feed it right in here. If you feel like your fibers are too close together, you can draft them out a little bit, and then we'll just feed it in.
want to know, what would be the ideal use for the drum card? Is it just for blending colors, or is it for blending different types of wool as well?
Yeah, you can blend different types of wool. I mean, some people like to make a really textural batt and then pull from it. You know, like pick parts of it out that you want, or just create a nice blended layer. So you can blend colors and you can blend fibers as well. But I would stick with fibers that are at least similar in staple length. So I wouldn't run MC1 and merino top through the drum carder together at the same time, because the MC1, they're just not going to want to play together real nicely.
The packer brush as a hand carder?
You know, I've not tried it. I've not tried to use it as a hand carder. I suppose you could buy a second one. We could try that. You could get a second one and try it. I've not tried it. Okay, so let's pull off this one that I just made.
Alrighty, everyone is loving this mixture.
Oh
Colors
yeah.
are just
You can't go wrong with fall colors, honestly. You can't. You just can't. But it's really fun to blend them all together like that. And the double blend, it might surprise you that you like it once you make it. I'd like to make jewelry with this, or maybe a little bowl or something. And you can work with it in the long striations or not. You can use this also to help get it off the drum. If it's sticking, use your little brush.
And Demita asks, how long would it take to get all of the fibers well blended?
These are blended. This, you know, a little bat like this just took minutes. These are well blended. I mean, if you want to just make it more and more homogeneous, then, you know, stack it and run through again. But these are absolutely well blended. They are. If adding neps, would you bury them in with the other wool? Becky, sometimes I'll just put the neps right on top in the design layer. I do. Sometimes I just put them right on top of the design layer. What are some other questions?
Let's see. Debbie asks, so the neps don't separate on the carder?
Oh, sometimes they get stuck in here. Yeah, I mean, honestly, sometimes they get stuck on the liquor in, but that's just part of the process.
Kim asks, is there an ideal thickness that you aim for?
It's really subjective. It's totally up to you. Really, it is. You know, some people are going to just pack this drum as full as they can get it and work from that. Some people may just be making like a top layer that they want to work from. So that's completely subjective. But what you'll see is if you get too much wool on here, it starts to pill, and that's when you know you just have too much. So you don't want it to start pilling on the surface.
Maria asks, how do you clean it after?
Cleaning it after is just going to take some time. Let me see if I have our very innovative tool. In here, Ann? Oh, have we lost it? Oh, here it is. Okay. Now this tool is. Do we have a Sharpie? It's been used so much. This tool that I'm about to show you has been used so much that its logo is wearing off. But if you can find one of these rare tools for cleaning your drum carder, you really ought to get one. It's called the fiber fork. We love the fiber fork for cleaning our drum carder because the teeth are kind of wide and you can get in there and just pick everything out that you want to get out without damaging the teeth of your drum carder. So the fiber fork, if you can find one in your area, grab it and hold on to it with your dear life. Yeah, the fiber fork we discovered, and it's just awesome. So lives here in the workroom. Everybody like that?
Getting a lot of that.
That's how we clean it. Yeah, that's how we clean it with the fiber forks. And wherever all this stuff is sticking, you know, if you just put down too much at one time, just take it all off and then use it in your next round. You can card up, you know, little bits of things that didn't quite work out and make a mixed batt. In fact, somebody in our group does that with all their little bits that are left over. They just card them up. Yep. So maybe we could card some MC1 on here. Why don't we do that? So I'm going to card some MC1 just for kicks. why don't we card together some of this brown and this orange, and then we can put in some little bits of purple too. So I'm gonna, y'all can see this, looks like you can see it pretty good. Can we see it good on this other camera too? Okay, good. So for the MC1, this honestly is already a half thickness, but just for fun, I am going to split the thickness just so that we can blend it a bit. And I'm gonna feed this right into the liquor in. Turn my little brush down. And notice that I'm just holding on to it a little bit. I don't want it to grab onto the drum too fast, and I don't want to hold it back so long that it gets caught up on the liquor in. I'm going to add a little bit more of this batt. This is our red grapefruit. And now I'm going to add some espresso. Drum carders are they're just so fun, and I know they're a luxury, and I know that, you know, not everyone can afford them today, but they really are a lot of fun to play with. I put a little bit of brown in there. I'm going to put some of this orange right back on top. I don't know what I would use this for. Something fallish.
Okay, please ask, if you buy a fleece, wash it, and card it to spin or felt with it, how many times would you run it through the carder, or is there, what do you look for in
Okay, I'm gonna try and answer that question, and I'm gonna just show you this. Can y'all see those colors? Whoops, sorry, I hit everything. Can you see those colors are looking so pretty? I'm just gonna stripe a little bit of purple in there on top of this. I love that red grapefruit so much. It's so good with earthy colors. So the question was, if you buy a fleece, how many times do you run it through? With a fleece, the fleece, it comes in so many varieties. Usually what happens is you need to pick the fleece if you're trying to make a batt. So by pick the fleece, you can hand pick it using like a flit carder, or you can get a machine that has like lots of scary teeth that does that for you. But what it does is it helps break up the lock, and that's kind of what you need to do, is break up the lock if you're trying to make a batt. It really helps to do that. Okay.
And Lily asked, what's the actual function of the liquor in? Why do you use it sometimes and sometimes not?
Its job is to help feed fiber onto the drum. So when I'm painting the top, I'm bypassing the liquor in. Like right now, I was feeding this into the liquor in, because if I tried to put this batt right on top, it's just gonna grab. So it allows the fiber to gradually feed onto the drum. When you have very fine fibers, like the Tessa silk and stuff, it's so clingy, it tends to grab right onto the liquor in. It's better to feed it on top. So let's look at this little batt I made. Maybe I'll make something with it.
And Deborah asked, would the smaller carders work the same way?
Yes, smaller carders work the same way. Like you see, I'm only using a part of this because I wanted to kind of demonstrate that. And it just ends up being, how much can you put on there? How much volume can you get on there?
Jennifer asked, can't you use a hackle to break up the fleece?
Hackle, yeah, you know, it's a different process. We don't sell hackles, but hackles are like these, for those who don't know, there's like these big tines that you run the fleece through. And I would say, if you want to hand process your own fiber, definitely watch some videos on that, because we don't do a lot of that here. Okay, so I'm just taking this off. Now I could also use my bars, and I'm going to show you how to do that also.
Sheree asks, would it be successful for an art batt if I used mostly MC1 but also added some locks and bits of artsy stuff?
Oh yeah, in fact, so here's this one. I just kind of strippy striped it, but let's, just for kicks, feed this back through, and then we'll add some bling on top, some Tessa silk and stuff. Does that show? Okay, so let's feed this back through and we'll just mix it up a little bit. So the underneath side is the first color I put and the top one is this way. Let's just blend it once more. And so for kicks, I'm gonna turn it over and get that going. And ask any questions that you want. I'm only gonna put the dressing or the bling on top. I'm alternating the layers, so I put one up and one down. So the first one went in like this. The second one went in like this. And now I'm just gonna go this direction. Some people feed great big sandwiches in, but what I can see here is that this fiber right here, see how it's kind of close to the surface? What I'm gonna do is use my packer brush to pack it down.
Is it always a good idea to go through the carder twice?
You don't have to, not at all. It just depends on how blended you want it to be. That's really the determining factor, is how blended you want the batt. There's lots of batts we make just by running through the carder one time. But this one I want it to be a little more blended and not so distinct. So now I have all of my MC1 in there, and I'll paint some of this orange and some of this purple. So this is bamboo and this is Tussa silk, and we'll paint that right on top. We can even put some Angelina in there. So I'm just gonna pull off a little bit, and this I do paint right on top.
Janlyn wants to clarify, so it only creates a batt as long as the drum carder is.
That's correct, Janlyn. That is as long as the drum carder is around. So if you want to make something longer, then you can piece them together. I saw this Russian felt maker who worked in a very small space, and she used only the blending board to make batts, and then would lay out them like in tiles and to make like a scarf. Just piece them all together, because that was all she had. So I'm going to blend this just a little bit more and then we'll pull it off.
Did you get the same effect if you use a blending board or a hand carder?
Very similar, but this allows you to run it through and through and through. A hand carder is just so small, and I brought those in for people who want to see what that is. And the blending board, you get kind of a tile effect. And it's usually, it tends to be a little more stripy because you can't blend it over and over. So I've been pulling this off by hand. Let me show you how we do it with our little poles. You have these little rods that come with the drum carder, and we kind of put one here and we tease this off. You can either use your hands or use the brush. Let me grab the brush, hold on.
And Debbie wants to clarify, so your extra sparkles don't get fed in, they just get placed on top?
I put the sparkles right on top. So here's what we do. You just use these two little poles, and we will twirl them and roll it off the drum just like that. And you could use this to make what's called a rolag for spinners, but for us you can just use it to get your fiber off the batt, off the card. And here's what we made. So this is MC1, and in my opinion I just love the colors. I never would have thought actually to blend those three colors together. I've never done that. I've never made this little color combination before. And you see how my silk's kind of sitting on top? I just piled it on really strong and didn't comb it down as well as I could. And that happens sometimes. But when you're felting, you can just blend it in. And if you want, you could run it back through the drum carder again.
And Lily says, I'm so glad you're showing how to do this. I've been wondering if it's something that I want to buy in the future, and I definitely do now.
Yeah, they're super fun to play with. So what can I show you now? Here's what that little art batt would look like. I mean, to me, it's just so dreamy and would be so fun to felt with. What can I show you now, or what would you like to see us do?
We have a couple folks wanting to see a demonstration of the hand carders. Particularly, Devin shares that she has difficulty removing the fiber from the carders.
Okay. Okay, so let's see if this angle will work. And you know what I'm gonna have to do is grab, let me see where we are. I'm gonna have to grab a chair, but don't you think at that height I might need the stool?
Yeah.
Or you could see about a rolling chair from my office.
Awesome.
Let's try that.
We'll try that.
Okay.
Let's see. Christy asked a question. After you notice the wool is fully around the carder, if you keep adding wool, will it keep blending it in or will it start making it thicker?
Okay, I'll try and answer that question while Anne's gonna grab me a chair. So she asked, when the wool is all the way around the drum carder, can you keep adding wool? Yes, I've only made little thin bats. So you can pile the wool on to the top of this teeth and use your packer brush, you know, to get it down more. You know you have enough wool on there when it's just gonna pill up. If it starts pilling up on you, then you just can't put any more on there. What happens is the more you feed on there, the more roughed up it gets. So on these drum carders, you know, you can work your way all the way across. Anne's gonna, you let me know about this angle. So let me see if I can get in camera here to show you the hand cards. And I'm not a pro. I mean, there are pros on hand cards. Is this gonna work?
I think so, yeah.
There are pros that work on the hand cards. And I'm not one of them, but I'll be glad to show you anyway.
Alrighty, moving the camera.
Okay, Anne's adjusting us. Thank you, Anne.
Yeah.
Hi, everybody. Nice to see you again. Okay, let's see. Brown, brown. I'm just picking some fun bits up. I have a little bit of this.
Asks, can the bits that are left over be carded to use as core wool?
Yeah, or you could, you know, use them for top dressing too. You don't have to use them as core wool. Okay, so these are the hand cards, these are the wool cards, and we also have student cards as well, or small ones, which are a smaller version of this. I like this size. The smaller version also has, I think, a shorter teeth bed, and with this, you're only going to be able to make as much as you can fit on the cards. Let me move my... I'm going to put this one up here. So what you generally do, this is curved. It's going to help you with the rocking motion, and this is how we're going to be working. I like to work with one hand over and one hand under. And generally, put one on your leg, and we're going to feed the fiber onto this. So I don't like to go above here, because if you do, it catches on the top and tends to bulk the wool up and kind of break it up. Are we okay?
Can we scoot
Oh, yeah?
a bit that way? Perfect.
Is that better?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so here's what we're going to, did everything else show up that I just did? Okay, great. So here we go. I'm just going to use this hand and pull the fiber through. I'm going to leave some little bits of space because I'm going to just blend this up a little bit also.
And Maria asks, what size are those hand carders?
These are, we have to measure them. These are just the Ashford standard size, so I can get a ruler, but this is just the largest size they sell, and they're designed for wool. Yeah, so
And a couple of our felting prints are wanting to know if we could demonstrate how to make roving with the discs.
I don't have a diz here. Sorry, I don't have one, but you know, we can do that another time, and that would be on the drum carder, and I just don't have a diz here to work with.
Alice shares, I'm so glad for this demo too, as I use hand carders, but not sure my technique is the best.
Well, I promise you're getting a tutorial from a novice carder. So, for whatever it's worth, I hope it helps. I don't follow the oldest practices, and I'll explain. It's kind of like my no rules in art is going to happen here. Okay, so now I put on the tussa silk and some bamboo as well. I'm just going to blend that all in. And why don't, for fun, I've never done the Angeline on the hand cards, but let's go and just put it right in there. Why not? I'm not putting any nuts in there. Okay, so this is now, I'm going to spin around on you just to break it up. So I painted it on my right, and I got something in there that I don't want. I have no idea. I have a freeloader. I think it's just a freeloader nep. Out. Okay, so this is what I do. Now notice this is coming off the cards a little bit. You don't want to overpack it, and especially if you're just starting, I would say in the beginning, avoid the end perimeter if you can, and avoid this little top section, because it gets so far out that it's a little unwieldy. But if it gets over there, don't worry, you can always peel it off. We do sort of a rocking motion, down, sorry, we're gonna do sort of a rocking motion. So we're gonna pull this fiber and pull. And notice that as I go to this paddle that I kind of flick up, it's because you want these fibers not to get trapped under. So do kind of a flick up and rock and pull. What you don't hear, so look, this paddle is clean. What you don't hear is me grinding the teeth together. Now, people who are pros with these things would somehow magically transfer the fiber back to this paddle. Me, novice, not pro, I'm gonna switch hands. We okay?
Yeah.
I'm gonna switch hands and flip this one over, and now I'm gonna go back at it again. So you just rock, pull, flick, rock, pull, flick, just like that. And all we're doing is coaxing the fiber off of this paddle onto this one. So let's do it one more time. For a little, now, if you get way over here on the end, use this paddle to kind of grab it. Now these fine fibers are just so lovely to work with. And you know, if this is all you have, you can still, I'm gonna go do one more time. You can still make a lovely little batt. And it's little, but it's pretty. Ding, ding, ding. It sounds like Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. Now, the way to get this off actually is to put this one under and this one here, and you kind of just lift. It's just a pulling up motion. And then here's the little thin, and I just made something super thin, but here's the little, it's like autumn, I don't know, it's like autumn rays or something like that. You could make it thicker than this, but this is all the tussa. What makes it look so shiny is all the tussa is so blended throughout, and that gives it like this glow. So if you want your whole batt, whether you do it on the drum carder or the blending board or whatever, to have kind of a glow, then run your tussa silk or your bamboo or whatever throughout the whole thing, and it gives it like sheen.
And Vicky asks, how many times do you transfer the wool between paddles?
As much as you want for blending. The fibers are already carded, they're already fully prepared, so just do it as much as you want until you're happy. That's all that's gonna matter.
And Laura asks, how much fiber can you put in a hand carder?
Not that much. I haven't weighed it, but not that much. Not very much. We struggled to get a 4-ounce batt off our 24-inch electric drum carder.
Benita asks, can we see the blending board?
Yes.
Oh, and Kate asks that as well.
Okay, yeah, let's look at the blending board. Here's the blending board. I'm gonna come to the middle here and show you a couple things. So the blending board, you know, has the same teeth, and you have a little blending paddle. It's a little different. It's a little different from this one, and in fact the teeth are going a different direction, which is interesting because of how you use it. So this is the blending board, and it has this, I don't know what the technical name is for it, but it has this little support in the back. Generally speaking, when you sit, if you want to blend in your lap, you can put this between your legs and blend in your lap. But for today, I'm just going to do it right up here on the table. So you can make a batt that is this big, which is definitely bigger than the hand cards, but you kind of paint it going straight down. That's how we do it. So let me grab some more fibers. Maybe we'll change up our colors a little bit. And just ask away while we blend. So what all have I made so far? This is what we've made so far from the autumn leaves pack, all of these little goodies, and we haven't even come close to using all of the fiber.
Becky says, oh awesome, I've always wondered why I might want a blending board over hand carders, or whether I'd want it in addition to.
Yeah. So This is going to be very much like we painted the top of the drum and we were painting onto the hand paddles. I call them paddles or cards or carders, whatever. But the difference is that you're kind of drafting it down the board. So I'm going to stripe it out a little bit so that when we get it off, you can see. These are our merino tops and they've been split into little thin lengths, but you can also draft them out a little bit so that you don't get big clumps down on there. And so I'm just going to draft that down. Now you could brush, after each time, brush and get them to lay down. Or you can go a few rounds. I'm not starting all the way at the top. I certainly could. Why don't I do that? I'm going to go ahead and put some bamboo right in the middle there.
Tina asks, when you make and store your art bats, do you need a recipe for them so you know how to recreate them in the future?
That's a really good question. For me, the ones that I make, I do, or I make them like from one of our designer packs, which are all very often based on like one of our favorite color palettes. So if I make an art bat, it's also often going to be from my favorite color palette and I know what goes in it. But especially if you're selling or making for other people, I would keep a recipe for sure. We keep a lot of recipes around here because we make so many things. Let's see, I want to put something else in there. What else? I had some purple Tessa. Okay. I'm going to put some purple in there. This one's kind of hot, so I'm going to tone it down a little bit. You don't have to come off the board like I do. It just feels better for me for some reason to drag all the way through. And maybe just for fun, I'm going to put a little brown. This is the Pueblo. Just a little bit. Just make everything a little bit more earthy. Okay. So now, you're just going to comb it, brush it down.
And Karen asks, do you not go quite to the top and the edges like the
Yes.
paddles?
You totally can. I just didn't for whatever reason because I'm, I don't know, kind of geeky like that. Then what I would do is put this in my lap and roll it down using the poles. So let me just turn this sideways and see if I can get it to position on the table for us. Because this little keel under here swivels, so I want to see if I can get it to stay on the table for me. So I can do that for you. I want to get it this way so I can do that. I don't think I'm going to be able to do it. Really, it does better in your lap. I just don't want to go through the deal of turning down the cameras again. Let me try. Anne, come hold it for me.
Absolutely.
I'm going to have Anne be my support. It's a little bit easier to do in your lap. Thank you.
Yeah.
Use my little brush. And you can see that this is not going to be as blended as the things that we've done already. It's not going to be as blended. This is really, I think, designed to make rollags with. Get this one down. Which you would spin from. But in this case, we just made like a little stripy blend. And if you want it, thank you, Anne. If you want it blended more, then you could stack it and put it back on the blending board and card it some more. And you could have also blended it more as you worked, which I didn't do. So I would like to see what questions you have or what I can answer. This is what that would look like, just by itself, which is really fun, but you can blend it more as it goes on and take your time. This is like a 2-minute demonstration, or you can blend it up and put it back on and blend it more as well.
Vicky asks, so the blending board looks like it's going to be better for if you're wanting to blend in a more controlled fashion. Is that right?
Well, I don't know. I mean, I think you can blend in a very controlled fashion on the drum carder, maybe than the hand cards. Yes. Then the hand cards, yes, because you have all this surface area to plan how you lay out the fibers. So this, yes, over the hand cards, yes, you'll have a little bit more control if you're trying to make a bigger piece.
Jenny asks, can you use locks on a blending board or does
Yes.
it get too messy?
Yeah, you can use locks, but what happens is when you put the locks on, they're going to comb out. You know, as soon as you drag this on there, they're going to come out. So as long as you don't mind, you know, running through your squiggles with the brush, it's totally fine. And I'm assuming that you want to work the locks in as opposed to try and, you know, just comb a whole bunch of locks. Yeah, which you should separate with your flick carder first. What other questions do we have?
Just a couple people still want to know when would you use a blending board over the hand carders?
You know, I guess if you want to make a bigger batt, you might like to consider getting the blending board. If you want to make a bigger batt, then you can make just with the hand cards. I like using the hand cards for making little bits of things. I like using the hand cards, and I'll make multiple little bits using the hand cards. Like especially if I'm, you know, blending small amounts of color, but I might run 3-4 times through the hand cards because it's just so fast to work with. And it might just be a personal preference on how you like to handle it. I like the hand cards, because with this action, you can quickly blend a little batt over and over just by switching, as you saw. And here, we only blended this once. So now, in order to get it more blended like these others, we would have to put it back on and do it again. With the hand cards, that happened really quickly. So I think it's going to depend on the end user's goal, you know, on what's your goal to work with.
And Kelly asks, I see that blending boards can come in different size teeth. How do you determine which TPI is going to be better for a project?
I think, you know, do we sell it in just the 72 and then the fine?
We sell just the 72.
We sell just the 72. So this one we're using with commercially prepared fibers, and I would say the super fine is maybe more for fibers that are even finer, like Angora rabbit or something like that. That's just super fine. This works great for working with commercially prepared tops. It really does. So if you want something that's a little more in the middle that you can work with, something like our MC1 batting or commercially prepared tops, the 72 TPI is very popular and very widely used.
And Laura asks, can you make a roving from the blending board?
Well, I haven't tried to diz that off to make a roving. I haven't tried that. I haven't. Usually people make rollags with them, which are like the little skinny roll that I rolled off for spinning. So I haven't tried it myself. What's another question?
Amanda asks, can you crisscross on the blending board?
You mean like to go this way? Yeah, but why? I don't know why you would. I don't know why you would. It's not the way it's designed.
Alrighty, and Kathy says, I tried to use superwash merino on hand carders. It went into teeny pieces and I couldn't felt it at all.
So who said that?
Kathy.
Okay, so Kathy said that she tried to use superwash merino first to card and then to felt. So superwash doesn't felt. Superwash is designed not to felt. So think about any wool sweaters that you've purchased or wool clothing that you purchased that are okay to machine wash. They want to prevent them from felting so that they're more prepared for our everyday wear and wash. And so they're treated in a way that's called superwash, and what it does is strips the scales off the fiber. That's going to make it not felt in the first place. So I don't know about it breaking into tiny pieces. I haven't really worked with superwash because it's designed not to felt. So if you want to felt, don't buy superwash. That's the hot tip of the day. A lot of people learn that the hard way by buying superwash and finding out later that there is such a beast as that. Cool.
And
Any other?
Daily Cindy wanted to know what happened with the leaves you were working on a few weeks ago.
Oh my gosh, I can't believe I keep forgetting those. Okay, so here they are. Okay, so for those of you who don't know, we wet felted some autumn leaves together. We did a little felt along together a few weeks ago, and we painted them with our Paverpal. So this, I'll hold up close. This is one of the leaves that were felted. I don't know if y'all remember, one was kind of thin and one was kind of thick. I'll kind of get out of the way. This one's kind of the thin one. This side is kind of the thin one, if you can see how flexible that is. And what I did is I painted it with 100% Paverpal, and it's very, very stiff now. Like this part is very, very stiff. And this part I painted like 3 times. And it looks very milky and very muddy. And I still need to check with Megan Neds and see if she sands it. So it's very rigid, it's very hard, but it's definitely lost a lot of its character. So think about if you're going to really glob on a lot of Paverpal. This is 100% Paverpal applied 3 or 4 times. It's really going to cake on there and start to get more opaque. This one, this leaf had 50-50 Paverpal applied, and it's still very, very stiff and very rigid, but you know, it's not as beautiful as the raw felt by itself. So I would use Paverpal with that in mind. Like, use it if you really want to make something stiff and you don't mind changing the hand and the character of the fiber. In some cases, like where I was first introduced to it was by Megan Neds. She used it on the claws, the talons of her life-size raven, and that was, those claws were covered with black MC1 batting, and then she put the Paverpal over and over, and it looked like clay instead of wool, which was just amazing. So it's not designed to make things waterproof. It is water resistant, but you can't, you know, leave it out in the rain after that. So we use it, like I use it on my doll fingers just to hold the fiber together in a 50-50 dilution with water. So, you know, if you're not using that and you're using some other kind of fabric hardener, just play with it and go little by little. Try a 50-50 dilution first, apply a couple of layers, but make yourself some test beads or test pieces and see how that works for you. Hey, there's just one thing I wanted to add. We've gone over the drum carders today. I know the drum carders are a really big investment. They're super expensive. What we will do, we have to meet the manufactured standard pricing, but what we will do is offer you the ability to do a layaway if that's of interest to you. We're going to put it up on the website, so if you want to do like a 3-pay or a 5-pay and we can help support that, we absolutely will. Just call us and let us set up something individually for you. There's no way to make it just self-serve for everyone on the website right now. So if we can help with that, we would be glad to. We want you to have all the toys you want to play with. So the fairies are back. We're going to give away some prizes. Come on in, gals. Have you been busy?
Yeah, definitely.
So we're going to draw some names. Thank you everyone for joining us today and participating in our little demonstration. We appreciate you being here. Who's going to mix them up? Mix them up? Here, I'm going to stir all the names. Like a cauldron. It's full of names in there. Okay, somebody draw one.
You ready? First name is Iva Dean Anderson.
Yay! Iva Dean. What'd you win, Ann?
Iva, you won a Tessa Silk goodie bag.
Super fun. Love Tessa Silk. Congratulations, Iva Dean. Heart for you. Okay, well. Okay, who's
Kayla.
next?
Kim
Zaft.
Zaft.
Kim Zap. Yay!
Kim, you won a needle felting a pumpkins kit.
Yay.
That's one of my favorites. Congratulations, Kim. Thank you for playing. Okay, one more.
Alrighty. Marie, do you
No,
want-
go ahead, Ann. I've been talking all out.
Kathy Triber.
Yay, Kathy. What'd she win, Ann?
She won
Heart.
Autumn Leaves Specialty Designer Pack.
Yay! Congratulations, Kathy. So that's the pack we've been working with. Each one is a little bit different depending on the fibers we have on hand for the day, but they're going to fit the autumn leaves theme, and hopefully you'll find something magical to felt with that. So thank you all for being here, and hey, we have a felt along this Friday, 9/28 at 12:30 Central. We'll be at my house in my studio, and we're going to wet felt this pumpkin right here. So if you don't have it already, go to our website and download the free PDF. Just go to our site, livingfelt.com, click anywhere to get in the shopping cart and search Fairy Tale Pumpkin, or go to Learn and look for the free PDF for wet felting a Fairy Tale Pumpkin. You can do this all by yourself, and if you're feeling inhibited, we're going to do it together, and I'll show you exactly how to wet felt it and bring any colors you like. This is the one I'm going to make. So I'll see you there, hopefully. Bye, y'all. Thank you.
Bye, y'all.
Have a good
Thank
day.
you.